All right, let's go Jags. All right. Head coach, I really only thought there was one option here, and that's Tom Coughlin.
That's who I went with.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Only coach in Jags history with a winning record again. Coached them during their best years in the late 90s, two division championships, 4 playoff appearances, 2 AFC championship appearances. That's the peak of the Jags franchise at this point, and it was all under one guy, so
Yeah.
he gets it.
Yeah,
He's also the GM when they did their 2017 AFC championship run.
Yeah, they brought him back, and apparently he's just an old fart, and nobody liked him anymore.
Well, he's always been like a hard ass. That was well known about him from his Giants days too.
Yeah.
Like he's from a different era, which
very
is
much
fine.
so. Very much so.
Quarterback, I think we might have done the same thing, but it really doesn't feel good to do right now. Like,
I feel bad for the kid.
You want to talk about going out on a limb here, because based on what you said, we did the same thing. I am doing a projection of all projections and putting Trevor Lawrence.
I put Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Allow me to justify myself. This is based purely on my faith of Trevor Lawrence rather than anything I've seen from him. And it's from a deep-rooted belief that everything that happened in Jacksonville last year was like insurmountable, and you have to throw it out. However, I am going to give like a mention of the person who everybody else would think would be here, and just like give some reasoning here. So Mark Brunell is the person that most people will have in this spot. Truthfully, as of today, that's the person that probably should be in this spot. But I believe that his 3 Pro Bowls and 25,000 career passing yards as a Jaguar, I believe those are all marks that Trevor Lawrence can and will cross.
Yeah.
But I will fully admit I could look like an idiot on this in short order.
I'm willing to look like an idiot for this one.
Well, me too. I'm just saying that if he looks bad again next year, we're gonna look really dumb.
I don't even know if I can blame him next year. Again, like
he can't look as bad as he did.
No shit, but I mean, as long as he looks a little bit better, or as long as he looks very clearly like, okay, clearly he's hitting throws. If there's a massive amount of film that is wide receiver drops or more of that bullshit, 2 guys running into each other, not able to run their routes and bumping off each other and taking themselves out of the play.
It was a symphony of bullshit.
It is completely terrible. So when people say, "Oh, if he looks as bad as he did," then yes, he is the problem.
Yep.
But there's no way he looks as bad as he does, because we've just watched the kid for 3 years in college football not be that fucking guy.
No, I know. I believe in him, but I'm just admitting that as like conventional knowledge for like a today all-time roster of Jacksonville, it is a hell of a stretch to go against over somebody.
It's a chips all in move.
Yeah.
110%. It's a chips all in move. I'm all in. I love Trevor Lawrence.
I'm rooting for him.
I'm rooting for him. I want Jacksonville to be a good team. They won't be, obviously, but I want them to get to being a good team eventually, is what I mean.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I don't like a lot of the moves that they made this offseason. I'm hearing Travis Etienne is looking fantastic, though, which, good to hear from him post-injuries, coming back.
Yeah.
Good to hear, especially since Robinson got hurt as well. You want both those running backs coming back healthy so you can help T-Law as much as you possibly can. But yeah, T-Law just needs to show that he very clearly is the guy. Yeah. If he's hit, you just need to hit Christian Kirk in the hands. You just need to be able to get the ball to the right people. I'm hearing Evan Ingram already sucks. Which is not a shock to me. I don't like any of the moves they made, which pisses me off because I love T-Law.
Well, it pisses me off because they had like the most resources to give, and they did nothing good
with it other than restructure the entire wide receiver market for Christian fucking Kirk.
Which is not great, Jacksonville.
Bro, they could have gotten Tyreek Hill.
Trent Baalke, this is why we got
Adams.
You out of San Fran, buddy. Thank God.
They could have gotten Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill. If you technically
I don't think either one of them would have gone.
No, but if you technically think about who's been available this offseason,
yeah.
I don't think they
AJ Brown
technically, but they're not going to trade in the division.
Yeah.
But
Debo, DK, you could have reached out for a lot of guys.
Think of all the guys they could have brought in to support. I mean, even the Jets,
Amari Cooper.
The Jets tried to get Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Jaguars. How do you not have Amari Cooper on your roster right now? That is a joke to me. Like, that should have been your first move.
Browns did a great deal.
The stats are all right there that Dak Prescott gets better when Amari Cooper's on the field with him.
Yeah.
Why the hell are you like, yeah, you know what, Christian Kirk, the guy who wasn't good enough for Kyler Murray, bro.
The number 3 dude on the Cardinals.
The number 3 dude on the Cardinals behind an AJ Green who's 90 years old, basically.
Yeah. Like, no, it's not great. No, but let's get back to this instead of all that.
T-Law.
I hope Trevor Lawrence does well. I'm just admitting for like the premise of like the exercise and conventional thought.
It's a massive projection.
Most people would put Mark Brunell there, and we could not logically argue with you.
No, not at all.
Yeah, this is a hope thing. But okay, moving on to running back.
I went with 2.
Okay, I went with 1.
Okay.
I know who your second one is, but so my first one, I went MJD.
That's who I went to.
Okay, so Maurice Jones drew 3 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, 2nd-team All-Pro, led the league in rushing, Jacksonville icon, and this roster really wouldn't feel complete without him.
Yep.
The only reason I went with him over the guy who I'm sure you picked is MJD's peak was way higher.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll just shout out the dude that I think you did. I would assume the other guy's Fred Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll let you go on Fred Taylor.
So I went with 2 running backs because I don't trust this offense at all. Like I want to give T-Law any opportunity to do well, to be completely honest with you. So I went with MJD strictly because obviously stats you gave and everything.
Yeah.
But also Fred Taylor being their franchise leader in rushing. The dude was a bust. I think it just having both of them there, like I couldn't justifiably leave out Fred Taylor from this roster. Even though MJD.
You want to talk about struggling to leave off running backs? We'll get to that scenario with probably the next team.
Yeah, very much.
This is similar.
This is a good taste of that stress that I already went through.
That other one made me look in the mirror and question myself a little bit.
I had to wonder truly what I value in a running back after this. But, so I went with MJD and Fred Taylor because I think MJD, while explosive and offers a higher peak, I want Fred Taylor there to be the, workhorse back who can just pound the rock for us. And this team is going to be very much focused on T-Law playing smart, giving it to the ball to his 2 wide receivers who I like. I got my tight end based on blocking specifically.
There's also only one tight end in the history of this team,
to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think this is very much going to be a run-focused team and see if we can't steal some wins.
Fair enough. Wide receiver 1. Yeah, I mean, I just got Fred Taylor as an honorable mention because he was really good here.
Yeah.
But I felt that there were 3 receivers that were good enough to be on this list for the Jags, and I wanted to give Trevor Lawrence more weapons if his tight end is more a blocker.
Fair.
So that's part of my logic. So wide receiver 1 is easy for Jacksonville. Jimmy Smith.
Yep.
5 Pro Bowls, 2-time second-team All-Pro. Led the league in receptions with 116 and 99. He is the Lightning in the receiving duo of Thunder and Lightning.
Yep.
He's the Jags' all-time leading receiver, almost doubling anyone else.
Yep.
7 of the 10 best receiving single seasons in Jacksonville ever also. So this is the clear number 1 receiver for the Jags.
Big time. That's what I got.
Okay.
Yeah, too easy.
Number 2, I got Thunder from that Thunder and Lightning duo, and that's Keenan Mcardle.
That's what I got.
Another Pro Bowler, contributing 4,000-yard seasons for the Jags.
Yep.
So I got that. And then you went with only 2 receivers. I went with a third, and I went with Allen Robinson.
Yep, I was going to say.
Another Pro Bowler. He was only in Jacksonville for a short time to start his career, but his 2015 season alone puts him on this list where he had 80 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 14 touchdowns.
Imagine if he didn't sign with the Bears.
I imagine if he just signed anywhere else.
Nah, it's so funny that he left the Jags. He's like, fuck this is awful.
Yeah,
and then he goes to the Bears, and it's even worse. And now, shout out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason his only Pro Bowl in his career came in Jacksonville in that 1 year. But that 1 year, 1,400 yards, 14 touchdowns, that gets him on here for me. Because again, I think that with our tight end being mostly a blocker, I wanted to give Trevor Lawrence as many 1,000-yard weapons as possible.
That's fair. And Allen Robinson by no means slacks in that department. Dude's a stud. I'm already hearing from training camp that he's balling over for the Rams, and they're shocked at how good he is.
Well, let's hope not.
True. But yeah, I would not be surprised to see Allen Robinson be a household name after this year.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's going to be a weird one. We'll see. I think he'll definitely be better than he was last year in Chicago. There's no way that can go any worse.
If he isn't, he is the problem.
If he isn't, he's just older. At this point, he's been in the league almost 10 years. All right, so tight end, Mercedes Lewis.
Really?
He's the only tight end that did anything.
I went Kyle Brady.
Oh, my God. So Mercedes, well, we both have blocking tight ends.
Yeah.
But I went Mercedes Lewis because he's a Pro Bowler. He was a second-team All-Pro. He's third all-time in Jags history in receiving yards, even though his highest single total was 700 yards. But he spent 12 years there. Yeah. Tight end for by far the longest tenured tight end there. Most prolific one. That's who gets it.
I think that's a good choice for sure. He offered a little bit more passing variety to the offense. To me, it was strictly just dude, not once did Mercedes Lewis ever make me fear for my life watching a game.
Who you said Sean Brady?
I went with Kyle Brady because I went with a guy who was a proven blocker from a run from.
So that guy
MJD's
puts fear in your heart.
No, but I'm not asking him to put fear in my heart. I'm asking him to block with a great line that he already did for.
Mercedes Lewis was a really good blocker.
Yeah, but I went with a guy I liked a little more.
All right, fair enough.
I went with a personal pick. I felt bad for Kyle Brady when he got drafted and got booed.
All right, fair enough. Well, there you go, Kyle. I mean, technically, I kind of booed you, but that's
whatever.
That's all right.
Yeah, you have a fan, Kyle.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
All right, left tackle. Much like the Bengals here, our only Hall of Famer on the Jags is that left tackle.
Yep.
Tony Baselli.
Yep.
5 Pro Bowls, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 90s All-Decade Team, Hall of Famer. He was a rock on the Jags for 7 years before an injury took him out. Jags only Hall of Famer. He was actually about to leave Jacksonville anyway because he was taken by Houston in an expansion draft, but he never played for them.
Wow.
But Jags only Hall of Famer. So easy choice.
Pick. Easy pick. Put him at my left side, my blind side guy for T-Lob. Set and forget.
All right. The rest of this line was a little tough to put together. I got left guard. I went Vince Manway. Only guard in Jags history to start over 100 games for them.
Yep.
So that's who I got at left guard.
Yep.
I
went with Vince for my left guard as well.
Okay, who you got at center?
For my center, I went Brad Meester.
Me too.
Yeah, All-Pro. He's got the Pro Bowl nod. Was there for MJD, so he knows what he's doing in that department. Easy peasy, just because lack of options.
Right guard, who you got?
Chris Nalloway.
Yep.
Nalloway.
Something like that.
Something like that. Sorry for butchering your name. Just another consistent Iron Man level guy.
Every game in 8 years for Jacksonville.
Exactly. And that's all I'm looking for here is just be a stud for T-Law and protect and let them run the ball.
Who you got a right tackle?
Leon
Searcy?
Searcy.
Me too.
Okay. Yes, so we have the same line.
Wow. Well, that's shocking. I thought for sure with a patchwork line sort of that we would have differed somewhere.
No,
Good for us.
Yeah, we went with potentially the best O-line the Jags have ever had, and that is not saying much. Granted, if this was their O-line today,
it'd be an upgrade.
It'd be fantastic.
I thought about going Cam Robinson at right tackle, just because they keep franchise tagging him, so obviously they find him valuable and he's a newer player, but he hasn't shown it yet.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it.
You gotta show it enough to get paid before I start considering you all the time.
Yeah. All right. Defensively, again, I went 4 backers, 3 linemen.
Okay.
So my first defensive lineman, I went Tony Brackens.
Yeah, that's who I went with.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Pro Bowl in Jacksonville, second-team All-Pro, led the NFL in forced fumbles twice, and is the Jags' all-time leader in sacks with 55.
Sir.
I feel that is an attainable number by somebody else on this list.
Okay.
That I have coming up.
Okay.
D-tackle, I only went 1. I went John Henderson.
Okay.
2 Pro Bowls, second-team All-Pro. He beats Marcus Stroud out for this spot for sack production and just longevity in Jacksonville.
Okay. I have both John Henderson and Marcus Stroud as my 2 D tackles.
So we had the same 2. I just picked 1.
Yeah, so I went with both, and I got both of them together. Yeah. I got Tony Brackens as my defensive end. As my other defensive end, I actually have Calais Campbell.
So do I.
Yeah.
Here, give some numbers on Marcus Stroud real quick, because I don't have any, because I didn't put him on here.
Yeah, neither did I.
Oh, fair
enough. Marcus Stroud is just a stud. He from what I read about the guy when I was doing all my research for everything, him and John Henderson together just kind of combined to be an absolute monster wall. John Henderson is the leader, as we said, leader in tackles for loss for the team and everything. And without Marcus Stroud being over there, he couldn't have done it. Marcus Stroud was also causing a shit ton of problems as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wish I had put down some numbers for sure, but the reason why I typically don't put down numbers for a guy is because I think it just kind of speaks for himself, his kind of resume, and what he was able to accomplish in his time with Jacksonville is, I mean, I don't think there's another D tackle you put on here other than Henderson.
All right, and then Campbell, he'll probably show up on another team way down the line.
Yeah.
But Calais Campbell, 3 Pro Bowls in Jacksonville, a first-team All-Pro, 2010s All-Decade team, Man of the Year, only in Jacksonville for 3 years, Pro Bowler in all 3,
Yeah.
2 seasons over 10 sacks, including a Jags single-season record of 14.5.
Dude was
So
awesome.
in his time in Jacksonville, he might have been the best D lineman to play there, but he just wasn't there that long.
Yeah.
So moving on to my linebackers, my first one I got Josh Allen.
Okay.
A one-time Pro Bowler, but a young Jag who this year could get into the top 5 in Jags history for sacks.
Yep.
Rising talent who's been sort of hampered by the incompetence of the rest of this roster.
Yeah,
but he's shown the flashes.
Exactly.
I think this is somebody that could hit that 55 career sacks and become their all-time leading sack guy.
Big time.
So I insisted that I had him on this list.
I have him as my left outside linebacker. I think it's a little bit of a projection, but I don't think it's a far off one.
Okay. My other outside backer, I got Kevin Hardy, who was a Pro Bowler, a first-team All-Pro. His best year coincided with the best year in this team's history, which was a 14-2 AFC Championship appearance year. So this guy peaked when the Jags peaked.
Good time to do it.
Good outside backer there. Middle linebacker. These guys are 2 more modern type dudes. My first one's Paz Lesney.
Love that guy.
So he's a Pro Bowler, Jags all-time leading tackler, best linebacker in their history, one of the only modern players to sort of play above and elevate the talent that was around him. Unfortunately, he was a good linebacker, sort of marred by bad teams.
Yeah, no, he was a bright spot on those teams for sure. Fan favorite guy. I remember I was rooting for this guy, not even being a Jags fan. Just a good player to root for, fun to watch, like hard hitter guy. Record for all time tackles.
Yep.
So dude is just. There's no other leader of that linebacker corps. There's no other Mike I want than Paz Lesney.
Yep. My other off-ball backer is probably your other backer also. I got Kelvin Smith.
Okay, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I went Kelvin Smith, second team All-Pro, athletic backer that emerged in the Jags AFC Championship run, retired early due to some personal problems, but had the potential to become a really special linebacker. Sort of unconventional on the smaller side, but as an athlete, regardless of some of the personal things that have come out about him, as an athlete and as a linebacker, he was an ascending piece that just left the game early.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually ended up going with Daryl Smith.
Okay, that was my consideration for the other one.
Second in the franchise in tackles, just constant force off the edge and everything like that. I figure just so easy, especially when you have Paz Lesney and you've got Josh Allen on the other end. You just need him to be as solid as he was and make those tackles, and that's what he did. So that's who I ended up going with. And to be honest with you, Jaguars have some decent linebackers actually.
Yeah, they got some decent backers. Corner one is Jalen Ramsey.
Same.
3 Pro Bowls in Jacksonville, 1 first-team All-Pro. He began his promising career there. If not for contracts breaking down, he'd probably still be there. And just quite simply, he's the best corner that's ever suited up in Jacksonville.
Yeah, easy peasy. It was that simple. I went with second one was Rashawn Mathis.
Yep,
just because
me too.
I went with Ramsey one and Rashawn Mathis on the second one, and there goes that's the best secondary I've ever seen already.
Yeah, he's got 1 Pro Bowl, 1 first-team All-Pro.
Jaguars.
Yeah. He has the most picks in Jags history, does Mathis, with 30.
Yep.
Quality player for many years, just wasn't the talent that Ramsey is, so he's corner 2.
Yeah.
Honestly, their corners aren't bad.
Terrible.
Free safety, I went with Reggie Nelson.
That's what I went with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of his career was in Cincinnati, but 3 years in Jacksonville, he made his impact and showed flashes of the ball hawking safety he'd later become. He had really solid pick numbers when he was in Jacksonville,
yes,
and I think that alone gets him one of these spots. Safety's been a tough position for a few teams, and it is for Jacksonville as well. Yeah. So I went with somebody who just flashed the higher side.
I agree. For my strong safety, I went with Donovan Darius.
Me too.
Third all time in tackles. Just an absolute stud. Kind of who you want in that run support position.
Played there for 9 years.
Yep.
I'm probably the longest tenured player at that position. I couldn't find anybody that was there longer at safety. So I got him at strong safety as well.
Yeah.
Kicker, I thought this was pretty easy. Josh Scobie.
That's what I went with.
Most accurate kicker for the Jags, and also the longest tenured at that position.
Yep, 61 field goals made, 59 yards is the longest in the franchise, and leader in franchise points scored, something like that.
Punter, I went Brian Barker.
I went Brian Anger.
There we go. So I got one Pro Bowl, a first team All Pro, best punt percentage within to get inside the 20, and within 3 yards of the longest average distance. So I took the 20 thing mixed with him only being like a few points off of like average yards. I'm like, okay, that's who I'd pick.
Yeah, I went for a little bit more of a modern guy, and went for Brian Anger, and then also longest punt average or something like that was Brian. So 40 yards per attempt or something like that.
All right, kick returner and punt returner. I went Reggie Barlow.
Okay.
Best averages, and he led the NFL in punt return yards during one season in his career there.
Yeah, I couldn't even find one for the Jaguars that I like, so I'll go with that one.
Okay. Okay. There we go.